All right, guys, Warlords Awakening comes out this week, and let's talk Assassin skills. Assassin, it's my favorite of the 5 classes, man. If I'm going to play a hack and slash game, I'm going to do it with the Scythe Girl. I'd prefer to do it with the Scythe Boy, have another chibi down there next to Jalan, but there's no male assassins. Sad face. Up here, you're going to see the difficulty is rated at 4 out of 5 stars. I don't get that. No class gets 1 star. No class gets 5 stars. So it should really be a 3-star rating. Easy, medium, hard. I can play this class, so it can't be that hard, guys. You know that I'm pretty much crippled in my left hand. I got the claw going on when it's time to use the keyboard. I've got this down to a science. You will too. Three trees. 3 big ones, man. I absolutely prefer the third one. We'll talk about it in a second. I'm just going to show you guys some of these skills. They did do a really good job in the combat in this game. And I'll show you why in just a second. Jump through to the other 6. This is really well thought out if you want to be heavy damage single target for your bosses or a lot of damage radial. As you can see, this is my build. That way you can see it. My build basically revolves around my dive in, my AoE skills, and then at the end of every one of my bars, I have my evasion boost. So I will show you guys that live in game. As always, we do classroom, and then we do a little demonstration. Next up is my chaos tree. This is the tree that I struggle with most, because it's not as AoE, not as radial AoE. It's very frontal. But I have found that this is the tree to lay the smack down on bosses. So again, I'll give you guys just a second. You can obviously pause this if you want to read the skills so you can think about it beforehand, before you get in the game on Thursday. And again, my build is very much so dive in, lots of AoE or lots of mass attacks, and then a buff on the way out. And then finally, execution. Execution is where I have the majority of my points. I'll talk about points in just a second. But this tree gives you a lot of moving AoE mobility. And it gives you damage to unique bosses. So I have to play a little bit with this build to take advantage of some of those higher damage single target abilities. So I'm still working on that. But I will tell you that I use Swamp of Exploitation to get life back. I'll show you guys how that works in just a second. So to give you guys just 1 second here on this one. And then there's my build. And I do apologize that the icons are grayed out. That's just how it is when you're not in combat. That should give you basically the idea of how that works. Again, it's dive in, AoE, and buff on the way out. Now you can see on top of abilities, you have your skills. You can invest in them as you put points in. And I didn't pull out each investiture. That would have taken me forever. You guys can get that when you get in the game. What I recommend is that you don't really look at your skills too much until you get them all. It takes till about level 12, and then you have access to all of your abilities in all your trees. And you'll be able to do that. Like I said, execution. I'll show you guys my execution tree in game in just a second. This is where I've put the majority of my points. And so that we're done out of game, let's go into game. As you can see, here's my execution build. And as you put points in, you get more bang for your buck, if you will. Like I said, Swamp of Exploitation, right there. I absorb 8% of damage done as hit points. That's really important. That's one of the few ways that I can get life back when I'm not in my Elite Lord form. But I only have points in the abilities that I've taken. So I don't use Frostblade. So obviously I have no points in Frostblade. But if you go all the way into Frostblade, it becomes more useful because the casting time gets reduced. Same thing with Spirit Harvest. The cooldown gets reduced. Now, I will say I have figured out that the way you do the game and you jump between stances might be able to save a point here by taking off the cooldown reduction. Because if I'm going to be swiping through 2 other stances, I don't necessarily have to get cooldown back. But yeah, you're going to have to really, really get in there and learn all of your bits and pieces. Like here's another one, Vamp Shot. I can get 8% of the hit points back, and you'll notice I do use it, so that'll probably be the next one I go into. This is a unique one. I have to do the cooldown time to get to the blast radius increase. So yeah, you guys, this game looks simple on the surface, but there's a lot to it. Before I'm done talking about skills, I want to make sure that I point out to you the Elite Lord skills. This is like traits or bonuses. In normal games, you can get your mana recovery, your health recovery, your crit hit evasion rate, critical hit chance. Highly recommend, if you don't want to put any points down in here, highly recommend you go at least into MP recovery and MP, because mana is a big problem right now. They are listening to the ambassadors. They're trying to get that fixed. Anyway, guys, let me pause this for a second so that I can go find some stuff to slaughter, and we can talk about the way I do my stances so that you get a little bit of a clue before the game starts. Alrighty, guys, it's going to be a little bit difficult for me to find all the groups because my mini-map is actually under myself, so that is problematic. But what I'm going to show you is, as you can see, you can hit this button right here, and it can show you all of your stances, or you can just collapse it down to just have one. So as I told you, the way I've set up my build, and this is just what works for me. I want to show you what works for me, and then you can figure out what works better for you. I jump in, I dive in, and then everything I do is based on AoE. Now you'll see that I automatically transformed into my Elite Lord status. Unfortunately, I didn't turn that off, but my mouse is not cooperating, so I have to click to the stances. Sorry about that, but as you see, I'm gathering up stuff, and then every time I get ready to leave a stance, you'll see that it is, let me come over here. Number 1 is my jump in, and then I start AoEs, and then as I need more AoEs, I can use them. I can't jump over there, unfortunately. I didn't realize that. But moving on, everything I have is AoE, and then my last skill is like my evasion rate, and so now I move into my next one, and it's just wash, rinse, repeat. Now, yeah, my combos aren't that huge, and I do have the mouse problem. I don't know what's going on with that, so and I can't see the big clusters. But everything I do is based on dive in, and then I'm constantly trying to move to the next group, and I'm dragging the almost live ones with me. So that's just what works for me. You guys will find out what works for you. Assassins, let me tell you, you're gonna love the game because you're gonna get these numbers up huge. Another little tidbit: make sure that you're using your mouse attack for filler. It helps restore mana, and I was at 45. But just this base A attack or your mouse button attack, a lot of people forget that it has a purpose. It's filler and it's hits. Because you want to always aim, every time you can, you want to aim for a 50 combo, because at 50 you get mana recovery. So I'm going to try to make that happen right here. There you go, you got that mana recovery. 2% every 2 seconds for 10 seconds. So 10% of your mana back every time you hit 50. Make sure you break your combos occasionally, because you don't get more mana back every 50. It's just at 50. Anyway, guys, that's just a little bit on Assassin. I'm sure there's going to be a ton more that I do as I play the game. Just for people who are getting ready to play on Thursday when the game comes out, wanted to give you a little inside information. Let me get out of here so I don't die. Alright, guys, and that is Assassin for Warlords Awakening. Now, I did get asked this weekend when I was putting that video together, when I was doing all the raw data pulling, if I'm going to do that for all 5 classes. And the answer is no, probably not. I'm going to stick with Assassin. I'm going to really drill down into it. If I try to do all 5 classes, I'm not going to be able to do them justice, and I'm just not going to have fun with it. So I'm going to just do Assassin. I'm going to be playing Assassin. If I move to something else, then I will start making content on the other class. If you guys want to talk about Warlords Awakening, hit me up at my email address or Discord. Discord is the easiest. I'm on it all day. Swing on by to my Twitch channel. I will be streaming Warlords Awakening this week, and when it goes live on Thursday, I will have a show on Thursday. And a big thanks to my sponsors at Patreon. Once this game goes live, I am going to give away a couple copies of the game because they give me money and I have a big old pile of it. So that's it, guys. I'm going to get these videos from today into post-production so I can get them out because they do no good if they're sitting on my computer. Make sure to get in touch with me if you want to talk, and make sure you're enjoying your summer. I'll talk to you later, guys. Take care. Hey, where are you going? You're not done yet. See these videos? There's videos up here to watch. You got to go over here. Hit the chibi. Subscribe to the channel. Check out the webpage. And I'll see you guys on Twitch.